If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fits. Dressed up like $1,000,000 trooper, trying mighty hard to look like Gary Cooper. Come, let's mix where Rockefellers walk with sticks or umbrellas in their midst.
If I represent, yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk, and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you a splanation. I'm sorry. A splanation.
Good thing you didn't have a beers then.
I know,
Well,
I
You
know.
already had one because you didn't want to do it.
Or I knew not to drink, because I'm pretty sure I had a beers. I just knew not to drink because I've been around Agent Sharon
Doesn't work
enough
for me,
times.
but someday.
One of these days.
I'm going to take it. I'll take it when it actually happens. If Mom does it or if Sharon does it, if I'm there, I'll take it. I won't be the cause of it, but I'll take it.
I'm guessing it'll be Mom if I'm there.
I would have been the cause of that then because she zinged me. She didn't zing
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Frickin'.
It's funny.
Yeah, and
funny.
then she wonders why I do things like.
I'm not even, I didn't, okay, I was answering honestly that I was going to school for archaeology because that's what I was actually doing. It wasn't, I'm not going to lie to her and say something
No,
different.
but you also knew. Yeah, you could. I mean, you positioned yourself well. Oh yes. What have you told me? Women always know.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, but
I
I
knew
still
insult-
didn't
I
lie.
knew
It's not
insult-
like I lied, and it's not like I made her ask the question. I may have led it into that slightly, but she didn't have to ask that question. She could have gone somewhere else.
You know she couldn't. Because, not that I know how she reacts to things, but I might have known that. I knew it was coming, so
Yeah.
she may be right.
Be that as it may, should we get going?
Yes, let's, please. All right. Welcome back, our hellions, our agents, and our fans, and our viewers. We appreciate all of you. I am X7, your poor schlub of a host. With me, as always, is the excellence of execution, Draco.
Hi, welcome back. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
Yes, let us know what you think about the Frankenstein mythology that's created around it. Because that's what we're going to be talking about. Young Frederick Frankenstein.
Yay, part 2.
Part 2. So, what do you got there in your mug?
So tonight I am having a little bit different. It's a Salt Flats Spirits Long Island iced tea. 11%.
You're trying to win early tonight. Have you ever tasted a Long Island iced tea in a glass?
I haven't.
Oh, that's something. Charm the pants right off of it.
Ooh, it's not bad. I don't think it's very strong. I mean, it's 11%, but I think if I had a mixed at a restaurant, it would be stronger. But that's not bad. I did get 2 of them.
Triple sec, whiskey. I know you need rum. I don't remember now. I've only ever had one in a bar once when I was And I was 19 because they didn't bother to card me at the huddle.
It's almost all of the alcohols. I think it's one of those that it's
three
like
at least.
Audios are one of our,
AMFs.
AMFs.
It just doesn't have the blue shit in it.
Right.
It makes
So
it
it's
blue.
similar to that, and I think it has just several of the alcohols in it.
And triple
But
sec.
it's not
And I
bad.
think it's got Coke. I think it's got Coke in it.
Does it?
A soda of some kind to give it a. Does it? It should have some fizz to it.
Well, if you ask Sheldon Cooper,
Call the tea party. Call the Mad Hatter.
yeah, he has no problem drinking any kind of iced tea. And in the episode, we see it.
My hands aren't up here milking an invisible cow, Will Wheaton. A long way.
That's right. He goes to beat up Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton.
Which one of your flowers needs a thorough vomiting? Well, he had like 2 of them at least, and that would be equivalent to 2 AMFs. Not that anyone
Right, and he downed them.
knows about that. How did he get over?
He drank them quickly, and so there was 2 by the time he went from the restaurant, because we know how that goes. Within 10 minutes,
Yeah, but he got to the right place.
things could completely change between sober and
That low down polecat done wrong, my woman. Welcome to New Long Island.
anyway. We kind of got off again. What are you drinking tonight?
I have something new. This is
Ooh.
a Sagres. I think it's. I don't think it's a product de Mexico, but it is a cerveja.
Nice.
Not cerveza. So I'm
Yes.
not 100% sure where it is from, but it's an imported beer, but it's only 5% because I have a plan. So
Ah.
it's perfectly
Yes.
adequate. It's 5%. I mean, it's better than say Coors or that stuff that people left here that I got rid of somehow.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was free beer. Can't throw it away. Excellent. Okay, so where did
So basically,
on our
this
previous
is
episode,
Young
previously
Frankenstein
on-
Part 2.
previously on GD Explanations.
We realized after going for 30 minutes that we were just talking about the Frankenstein lore itself and where it originated. So we decided to do a 2-parter. This time we're actually going to talk about Young Frankenstein. And then I did watch the newest Frankenstein movie. And so,
Guillermo del Toro.
yes. So I do have a few things to include from that in this video without giving spoilers. So it's not going to be tons of information, but I do have a few things that tie into Young Frankenstein.
And if we spoil Young Frankenstein for you, you've had 51 years to see it. Go watch it.
51 years. So,
That means your humble agent was 9 years old seeing that movie. Probably. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I am forever grateful to Don Adams for taking me and his son Scott, my best friend, one of my best friends at the time, Scott. You know, that was still 4 years before I met old agent Rick DePayne.
when your whole life
Yeah,
changed.
but he wasn't there. He was still in Texas.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I did see the movie in the theater. I knew about it.
Nice.
I don't know where I must have been reading Famous Monsters by then. Famous Monsters of Filmland, the seminal magazine on newsprint that you had news about new movies and lots of old movies, especially
Yeah.
Frankenstein, which is where I am. So I knew what it was about ish. Yeah. Yeah, 74, right? That's when it was released.
I don't know. You're supposed to know. I didn't have the notes.
I forgot to pull them up. Give me 1 second here. Young Frankenstein. 1974, yes.
Okay.
So good.
So-
It gets Mel Brooks' best movie.
So, I remember back in the day, obviously I'm a little bit younger than you,
Tiny bit.
but I remember going to the newspaper to look up the different cinemas nearby and the different movies and the different times. Now I just go to the app and you see all of the times, all of the locations. So my question to you is, as somebody who has seen a movie that is 51 years old
I've seen all
in the theater, what is your movie going experience like from back then to the experience you have now? Like, what are the differences in seeing a movie in the theater?
Excellent question. That's great. And speaking of Agent Dumbass, he and I have discussed this at length because
Of course.
nostalgia is a thing for him. But the interesting thing, the most fascinating thing, and the thing I actually miss, spoilers were very hard to come by.
Yes.
Even into the 80s, they started getting more off, especially after Star Wars. Everyone wanted to know what would be in the next one. Was Darth
Right.
Vader actually a sand person? No, he was not. But in '74, I was just getting to know the TV guy, looking for movies in the TV guy, especially movies with a giant radioactive reptile.
Yes.
Any kind of genre movie, science fiction or horror, or the rare superhero movie that would be from Italy or something like that. So the anticipation was one thing when you saw that, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I want to go see that." We wanted to go see Young Frankenstein because we'd read about it in Famous Monsters. We knew that they were using the original Kenneth Strickfaden equipment, the same equipment that you see in the 1931 Frankenstein, the
Okay.
zappy, and that's the same they used it because it would have been in
Oh.
storage. And Kenneth Strickfaden had it, and they got it from him.
Nice.
So obviously, Gene Wilder, who wrote the script, was a fan. We didn't know that. We just said, "Oh, Young Frankenstein, and it's a comedy. How will that work?" But it had Frankenstein in the title, and I'd seen several of the Universal Frankensteins, and just because Channel 2 here showed them here in Fossil Bed. So to get to your point, seeing it in the knowing it was going to be in the theater, and we had one theater here in Fossil Bed at the time, Trojan Theater, still down there on Main Street. It has musicals and plays, and then also occasionally shows movies. And then we had the drive-in. Thankfully, it was at the Trojan, which was a big old theater, which I love big old theaters, and the sound was still stereo. There was no Dolby,
Right.
or doubly, but there was no Dolby. There was no THX 1138. But it was great. I mean, it was film, and you had a smell, and there was popcorn. You had the candy counter, which you got your flicks for 15 cents. And so the anticipation, the buildup of it was just huge, and it was that way with any movie that you knew you wanted to see. When I would see like Golden Voyage of Sinbad, same year, '74. That was, gotta go see that. Mom took us to that.
Right.
She didn't get all that one. But at some point, she started figuring, well, he's not 10 years old. He's going to be able to, he can take his brother. They'll go to the movie, go over and get an ice cream or something, because Baskin
Right.
Robbins was next door.
And
So
then walk home.
but it's communal experience. You don't get that now.
Right.
It's hard to avoid spoilers, and you just didn't. You knew what it was about. Okay, it's a descendant of Frankenstein. Okay, but I didn't know who Gene Wilder was. I didn't know I'd seen him in Willy Wonka by then, which probably at the time. Seen him in lots more since then, of course. But
Right.
I knew, I kind of like, that guy looks familiar to me, but I didn't know who Mel Brooks was, why, what his reputation was. I later found out. I mean,
Right.
because of that, you start branching out because, well, this is, why is this? Why is that? And so
Yep.
there was just this whole, because it was an homage and a loving parody of Frankenstein, especially the Universal movies, and especially Young Frankenstein. Or not Young, especially Son of Frankenstein, which was the third one. The last one Boris Karloff did as the creature. It was just, I mean, we loved it, and it was funny. And even if all of the adult jokes, not sure if I'm using that one right or not, but I did not. Scott and I didn't get it, but his dad laughed hard.
Right.
We're like, why is that? What is this mystery of
Yes.
life? Why is that funny? I thought it had something to do with his eyes.
Right.
Because that's how he'll zoom the close up of his eyes. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Did the monster give him his eyes? I was 9.
Right. Yeah.
I was a very naive young man, young agent
Yes.
at the time. But so that's the main thing, is the anticipation of seeing the movie. Oh, it's going to be here in how many days? How long is it going to be here for? Because a lot of times you only had it for. They would show Friday through Sunday, maybe Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
And the 3 middle days would be just something they'd throw in there in case people had a day off or something. We only had the one theater, so they had to cycle through quickly.
Right. Right.
So, and at that point in time, we could go to Boulder. We didn't know that as kids, but my mom, when she got remarried, when she was dating Hank Jr. or good Hank, right? We went to Denver to see The Duchess and the Dirtwater Fox, which was set in Utah-ish, because it was set it's a Western. A lot of
Okay.
Mormon stuff in there. 1 day on, 6 days off. It's Goldie Hawn and George Segal. So we loved it because we were getting more of the adult humor. Still didn't understand the 1 day on, 6 days off thing. Totally.
Right.
but we didn't know you could go to other cities to see a theater because that was
Of
just
course.
unknown.
Right. You know your city. You know where your parents take you.
Yeah, to the Trojan or the drive-in.
Right.
Generally, the drive-ins had this, like the Disney stuff they'd re-released. It's where we saw Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. Well, we saw Snow White. Something else, I don't remember. But a lot of Disney stuff that was there for the kids because you'd pack up the whole car.
Right.
And, you'd $5 a car, and you'd bring your gigantic bag of popcorn, and they had swing sets. You'd go play until the movie started.
Yep.
I do miss that. It was obviously you look at it through a lens of a certain vintage,
Right.
but it was the drive-ins were always seedy. The Trojan was where you saw the name movies until they built the Parkway, which is where Star Wars show was aired and
Right.
like, the
Right.
bigger movies. That was probably just about a year later that the Parkway showed up, but it was just a different time because you couldn't see the movie again.
No.
There was no home video. There were videotape players, but they had they were 3/4 inch decks, and they were thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You couldn't rent a movie. You could get a condensation of it in 8mm, but that was like 10 minutes of a movie, and we loved it. In my day, we didn't have silent film. Well, we did. But I'm a grumpy old man.
All right. So the new movie, without trying to not spoil a whole lot, it is Frankenstein. So it is about Frankenstein's monster. So in the beginning, we do see a young Frankenstein, some of the way he grew up, and then some of the later years, and then when he creates Frankenstein, the monster, the creature. And then from that point, we live the life of the creature. And then we learn, like we see him go through his battles, the stresses of living and trying to just be a part of society without being the odd guy out, right? He just wants to be like everybody else. He knows he can't die, and he knows that he's the only one like that. And so closer to the end of the movie, he then reunites with Victor Frankenstein, and he tells him, this is what I actually want from you. And then the movie ends at that point.
Oh, so have you ever read the book or?
I haven't. And so I've wondered how that then maybe follows the book. It just kind of tied it, as I was watching it, it kind of brought me back to our episode and kind of the different ideas of Mary Shelley and, all of it. It just, so I wondered if it was, how close it was to her story, and it just made me want to watch or read that first book even more.
So I've only ever read the Golden Comics Illustrated adaptation, so I know how it ends. I've known how it ends, and I've had, again, this is a subject near and dear to Brick One's heart. So I've had to hear about it a lot. His main complaint about 98% of the movies is that there's never been a real true adaptation, which
Right.
I can see that because they wanted to make it scary, and I think
Right.
it's more sad actually because this creature didn't ask to be reborn, and I know that in the book he goes to Victor, who, and something else Agent Dumbass told me is that he was never a doctor, he was never a baron, he was just a pre-medical student, so he had no idea. He didn't really have any idea what he did, and the creature didn't have an abnormal brain. It was just, but he was turned by the hatred of the people, the lack of understanding and empathy. But he does go back to Victor and says, "Make me a mate," and that's where we get the Bride of Frankenstein, the second movie.
Yes.
Because he learns to talk, and he wasn't just fire bad. He was eloquent because he and Victor makes him. There starts to, and then it's like, I can't do it. And see, I'm not clear on whether if the monster actually kills Victor, but at the end of the book, he goes into the Arctic and just leaves, and that's the last we see of him, lonely up in a frozen wasteland, unable to at least die, but trying to freeze.
Yeah. Gets
frozen. I don't know what, but that's. I just have that vision. I can still see that comic book as he gets there, and it goes from one panel where he's on the ice floe, and then it gets smaller, and it's just like, this is not a happy. It's not. It's sure it's a tiny bit scary, but it's scary because Victor was playing with forces beyond his ken.
Yes.
And it's
So
just sad.
It is, and since you said it, that is what he went back in this movie. That's why he went back to Frankenstein and said, "Hey, I wasn't asked to be here. You did this. You created me. I'm here now. I know I'm the only one of my kind. Please just make me a mate." And I'm not going to say what happens in the movie as far as if that happens or not. But that is really sad. It wasn't really a scary movie. It was just basically showing what happens. You've got this being who wasn't asked to be there, who is now there and has to live his life. Anyway, and just what it ends up coming down to, human nature. He wants to be like everybody else, but he knows he's not. He just wants a mate to live out the rest of his life who will understand him and be there with him always.
And if you've ever seen the Bride of Frankenstein, that didn't go as planned. I don't know.
And I have not.
The Bride with Sting and Jennifer Beals, because I've never seen that.
I have not.
But it probably never goes the way, because you can't make someone like you.
No.
I mean, you have to give them part of your brain to bring it back
Right.
to Frederick Frankenstein and whatever the monster gave him.
What I found interesting about this monster, he doesn't look like any of the previous monsters. But what I found interesting is looking at the suture lines. Mm-hmm. Like, I studied the suture lines as I was watching this to see what bits and pieces he took from other people. So it's a little more detailed. So you see on both deltoids, you see the front, the middle, and the back. Like, those are the suture lines just for the deltoid. You see the suture lines for the bicep, the tricep. And so it kind of goes through the body like that. As somebody who loves the learning about human anatomy and physiology, that to me was really cool to see that kind of a monster. It's not the typical Frankenstein, so it is a little bit different, but I did like to see how they created their own version of the monster in that way. It was kind of cool for me.
I'd have to look at a picture of the monster, or the according to fans back in the day, in the 70s, up to say maybe the mid 80s, because a lot of times they base it on the Karloff creature, which is iconic but not even close to what's in the book. You might have used it in the title card. The Christopher Lee monster from the very first Hammer Dracula or Frankenstein was closer, and they had to change that because nobody liked it. Like, what is that? No, well, okay, we'll make him a little. They got to talk to Universal, who owned the copyright to the Boris Karloff makeup. So you can do the flathead, the Herman Munster thing.
Yes.
It's very iconic. I mean, everyone thinks that that's what he should look like when...
Right.
It's not really it, but, he also shouldn't be 30 meters tall and fight a giant fire-breathing dinosaur either.
True.
And you won't hear me complaining about that. So, but it's just, it's wide open to interpretation, and I'm glad that if Del Toro could bring something new to it. And when I'm thinking about it, I think that Young Frankenstein might be the only Frankenstein movie where both Frederick, or the creator, and the creature live happily ever after. Although he had to marry Madeline Kahn, so
Yeah.
I'd much rather Terry Garr, Phoebe's mom, Phoebe.
Yes.
What knockers? Yes, thank you. You're not even wearing a knockerified shirt there, so.
So let's get more into Young Frankenstein, because that's really
Right.
what brought us here. So what's your favorite scene? Like, what is it about Young Frankenstein that just is it the comedy? Is it...
Well, it's
I mean,
not.
Gene Wilder has crazy hair and all the things he does. That's a character in itself? Is that part of all of it? Like, what is it? Because I love Young Frankenstein too.
He is the straight man. He's the guy that's trying to act normal while all Igor and I don't remember Terry Garr's character. Oh, I can look here. I've got it. I keep wanting to call her Phoebe, and I know that's not who she is. Inga.
Right. If you need to look stuff up, I'll cut the middle section out so it won't look like we're not prepared.
Well, Igor and Inga are racing around like loon, doing he's that guy in the middle just trying to, but he also gets to lose at everyone's said a give. I don't know that I could pick out one part. As a kid, the physical humor, we knew what was we knew what happened in the 31 movie when the creature met the little girl. But since we knew by now after he'd stuck the scalpel in his leg,
Yes.
yelling about his grandfather, we were like, well, it's probably not. And he sits on that. He sits on the teeter-totter and then just watches her. Actually, she keeps telling him to, and he rolls his eyes and does it. He's like, all right. I mean, he's not a dumb creature. I mean, and the scene with the future Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman, as the blind hermit, and setting his finger on fire and pouring the soup in his crotch, the hot soup. There's just so. I mean, that it's not. Mel Brooks will do anything he'll try to get a laugh about anything, whether it's bodily humor.
Yes. Yes.
It's more subtle here. There's no farting scene like in Blazing Saddles, or talk about that sort of thing, which I think's a little, it's always funny, but especially to boys.
Well, flatulence is always funny, even if you don't laugh out loud. Inside, you're laughing, but you don't want to portray that you're inappropriate. Everyone thinks it's funny.
But the whole cast takes the movie seriously, because if they'd have played it wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we're having fun, right? It wouldn't have worked. But
No.
they take I mean, they take everything, they play it super straight, which is like Adam 100% Grade A West did with the Batman show. Because if he'd have played it super silly, you'd think, why does he have a funnel in his belt, his utility belt? So that really helps. The cast is excellent. The script is excellent. The music, I mean, the homages to the original, the first three, especially those first three. The dance scene, they got a musical number in there. It was just like it all fit, and it's compact. Even at 105 minutes, it's still, there's nothing wasted. There's no extraneous nonsense. You don't watch, because they stuck with a very similar budget to the original ones, which were a big budget for the time, but they didn't have to go overboard. It's not a large. It's not like an epic movie, but it's just really. I mean, it's just hard to pull out one thing. The physical comedy at the time when I was 9 was the funny part. We got why he's upset because his thumb's on fire. He couldn't get the soup. He was hungry and he just wanted to eat. And the little girl flying through, you don't see her fly through, you just see her land in the bed, and she's down, and you're like, oh, that could have ended a lot worse. But, Bear Castle, Igor was hilarious. He because he would look into the camera and talk to I don't know if he talked to the audience, but he did kind of like.
Right.
Can you believe this guy? But that was like the only thing that just. And he could do it because he was just British. Well, he was British, so
right.
Just let him do it.
Right.
But they didn't overdo anything. And in fact, for Mel Brooks to underdo it, to like...
He did, but...
Let it simmer and it'll pay off. Because the sedative. And the whole Abby Normal thing. We got that because that was... They did such a good job. I mean, the whole cast. But he was the straight man and played it like I'm trying to... I'm doing the normal thing while these lunatics are, I don't know, it's like Andy Griffith and Mayberry. He was the normal one, and they're all just racing around, running into things.
Right.
It just worked.
As somebody who has seen it several times, and versus some of the people, maybe our viewers, haven't seen it, what is the one scene that you would... and I want you to talk about it, make somebody younger, like what is that one scene that you think they should, because of the scene, you need to go and watch it? I mean, there's several scenes, but what would be that one reason why somebody younger should go and watch it and enjoy it?
I would use the actual trying to bring him to life scene, because that's, it's modernized enough. But it's right out of the older movies. But, I mean, it's got the kites. It's just a fantastic... And it's right out of Bride of Frankenstein. But it's a little less creaky. But he's doing everything, and everything works. And you're like, well, this is how... maybe this would work. And they're thinking that, too. And then he has a conniption fit. So, it's just... there are some creepy scenes in there. Really effective... I can't call it horror because they don't go... The monster doesn't go around. I don't think he kills anyone. I mean, not even after getting his thumb set on fire. But, he's just big and clumsy, and you feel for him. But that would be the one I would say, go watch that, the bring him to life scene. Because if you watch that, you're going to want to see, well, did it work?
Did it work? How did he do that?
Longer.
Yes.
And so... And it leads into the funny scene with the police lieutenant with the wooden arm that I thought was Harvey Korman for years, and it's not. 50 years I've thought that was Harvey Korman. But I would say, but it's in black and white. A lot of people won't even watch black and white movies, which is, if you won't watch a black and white movie, you don't deserve it.
It's true, and you miss out on so many good movies.
And you can see, because people, they've done young Frank, the guy that played the monster was Peter Boyles, who later on was in Everyone Loves Raymond as the dad. And he actually dressed up as the monster at one point in time.
Nice.
In one of the episodes. And it's like, okay, everyone of a certain vintage
knows that. And
So-
nobody else has any idea and why that's funny.
And it's like if you say Frau Blucher, and if you're around horses and see what they do, and somebody knows what you're talking about, I mean, you're friends. It's just that simple. So we thought that was really funny too. We didn't know why the horses were doing that. We just thought that she was scary.
Right.
And that's Cloris Leachman.
Nice.
The original Queen Hippolyta from the Linda Carter show.
There you go. The Linda Carter show. All right. So, I think we're kind of getting close to our time. Is there any last information that you want to put out there to why some of our younger viewers should go watch it, or anything you want to talk about as to why Young Frankenstein is such a great comedy movie?
I think we've covered a lot of it. The only thing I would say is if you want to see how comedy and a parody and an homage and just a good movie is done, this is an excellent example of it, especially for comedy, because comedy is not easy, and this one makes it look effortless because of the talent of the cast and crew. So you can't go wrong with this movie. I mean, I know I'm overselling it, but it's rightfully considered a classic and deserves every bit of praise that it gets.
All right, so I do have one last little bit to share. So as I said before, the new movie is about, we see young Frankenstein growing up. We see him build the creature. We see the creature move on and try to live his life, and we learn that all he really wants is a partner to live his life out with. And in the past episode, part 1, we learned that Mary Shelley wrote this, and we learned that she was married to Lord Byron. So at the very end of the new movie, there's a quote that pops up, and that's the quote I want to read.
Okay.
And thus the heart will break, yet brokenly live on. Lord Byron.
It's a lovely quote, and I wish I hadn't heard it from a certain person before you ever read it,
That's fine.
because he's a knob. But yes, he also thought Lord Byron was wonderful. I mean, mental, but wonderful. So I know that's an excellent way to end the movie. If that was the end of the movie, that was excellent. And you read it very well, too.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're wrapping things up here. I am X7. We hope you have enjoyed this. Let us know what you think about both the whole Frankenstein mythos. If you want to leave me a comment, because I can talk about it. And what you think about Young Frankenstein in general. And if you've watched this far, bless you. I am X7. With me, as always, is
Lilith Draco.
We'll be seeing you.
Bye. Live long and prosper.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
So you like the beer?
I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.